Tonight's show is sponsored by Queen Bee Cleaning Company. Queen Bee Cleaning Company services Wayne County and the surrounding areas within a 1-hour radius. Their services include residential cleaning, commercial cleanings, post-construction cleanups, move-ins and move-outs. Yes, they do the packing and cleaning for you. Real estate cleanings, deep cleans, event cleanups, window cleaning, interior, exterior, and screens, junk removal, and boat detailing. Yes, you heard that right, boat detailing. You can hire them weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, one-time jobs as needed. It doesn't matter. They offer all natural cleaning options as well using chemical-safe products. All estimates are free. When you need to find a cleaning company, think Queen Bee, because when your environment is clean, you feel happy, motivated, and healthy. To contact them for all of your cleaning needs, call 570-229-3959 or email them at qbcleaningcompany@gmail.com.
All right, y'all. It's the Nonsense and Deep Thoughts Podcast.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another fantastic episode of the NDT Podcast. What's up? Aaron, you have something?
That was flawless, bro. I'm proud of you.
I didn't mess anything up.
Nope.
I got it this time. Jared, I hope we made you proud, buddy. I hope we made you proud. All right, tonight, Monday. Let's get right into it. Aaron, why don't you tell everybody who we got with us tonight?
So I did this on purpose. I didn't ask how to pronounce your last name because I want to make sure I get this right. Christopher Pasatieri.
Put up as Pasatieri, and I'm sorry my phone's going off here.
No, that's okay. That's okay. So got Chris with us. Chris, tell us exactly what you do and who you work for.
I am a professional sports photographer based out of New York. I live in Brooklyn, and I am a contract photographer for the New York Mets, freelancer, as well as a contributing photographer for Getty Images.
Okay, we don't want to screw that up.
Yeah, it's a lot. Plus, I have to be kind of technical a little bit about stuff because, a lot of people have introduced me as the photographer for the Mets, and I am not the photographer for the Mets.
You don't want that stolen valor. I get it.
And I am not staff with Getty Images, but I am a contributing photographer there since I want to say 2007, if I remember correctly. So been around for a while.
Oh, sweet.
Important
so
difference
right off the bat,
sure.
we get along.
Yeah. Except you're wearing that City Connect, man. I don't know.
This is the black one. I love the City Connects, dude. I love them.
Not my favorites of uniforms. I don't know if that's gonna be bad for me or not, but I'm a traditional guy like Howie Rose is. I like just the pinstripes and just the grays, so I always have. So
I got the hat. The last time I was at City Field, I got the one that looks like it's like the '80s jersey.
Yes, the with New York written across it. Can't find one in my size, man. I wish I had one. Yeah, it's one of my favorites, definitely.
How do you feel about the color rush uniforms in the NFL?
I haven't seen any of those. What is it? I don't do football, so
I
only do high school football. Yeah, I haven't seen any yet. Although I did see the giant one.
Yes.
Oh my god.
The throwback?
Yes. Yeah, I don't know what they were thinking on that one there, buddy.
See, I love them.
Yeah?
I love them. I love the ones that they're doing this year too.
I mean, I like
the red and blues this year.
Didn't the Jets wear a green throwback last year? That was to this. I liked that. I mean, but I'm also, if I had to root for a team, I guess it would be the Jets.
You're a typical New York fan. Mets, Jets.
Yeah.
Mets, Jets. I know. Rangers.
I'm opposite. I'm a Mets, Giants.
Okay. Well, my grandmother too. She was. Yeah, you couldn't root for anybody else in the house except for the Mets. Mets, Giants, Rangers, and Knicks. That's what she watched. She watched the whole time. All right. Questions?
What you got for me, man? Let's get it
Why
going.
don't we let's start from the beginning, man. What got you into this? What got you interested in photography to begin with? And then what helped you transition into the field that you're in now?
I started in high school. I was always a big person, and I had tried out for the baseball team, and I didn't make it because I couldn't run a mile. I wasn't an athletic person. And the next day, my first class was my photography class, and I was really bummed out. And my teacher could see that I was upset, and she said, "What's wrong?" And I told her, I didn't make the baseball team. And she said, "Okay." She handed me a Pentax K1000, which is a fully manual camera with a fully manual 400 millimeter lens, and told me, "Go out and shoot the baseball team for the yearbook." And I'm like, "Okay." I took 20 rolls of film with me, black and white film. And I went out for 2 days photographing the baseball team and came back on Monday. She helped me process the film in the darkroom. And we didn't make prints back then, but she took a loop. I don't know if you know what a loop is, but it's what magnifies a slide or whatever. And she started to look through the film, and she's looking through the film, and she says, "You have a real eye for this." She says, "Don't stop doing it." And I didn't. I graduated high school. I didn't go to college. And at the time, there was a book called The Photographer's Market. And in the Photographer's Market, it listed all of the organizations that were friendly to freelancers, people looking for opportunities. And one of them happened to be the New Jersey Devils. So I I called them to see if they would let me in, and they let me in for a game. And it just cascaded from there.
That's so cool.
One game.
Now, what year are we talking?
I started shooting. I found some prints recently with a copyright on the back of them of 2006. So I shot Gretzky's Ranger. I shot Yager when he was very young. I shot Stevens and McKay and Brodeur.
My guy Marty Brodeur.
Yeah, Marty's just starting out. And then unfortunately in 1990, like around 97, the end of the beginning of 98, my mother passed away. And when she did, I was kind of like running from everything. And I found solace in photographing NASCAR. So from 98 to like 2004, I was on the NASCAR circuit, working for.
That had to be fun too.
Oh, it was great. I was driving all over everywhere. I was driving from New York all over the country until I moved to North Carolina for a couple of years. And so, the only races I really didn't go to were California, Texas, and Daytona. Actually, I just didn't go to the 500 because I couldn't get a credential, but I was allowed to go to it was called the Firecracker 400 in July. Yeah, man, I'm talking the heyday of, I wouldn't say the heyday of senior. Senior was well established, but junior was still racing Bush, sponsored by AC Delco, and I have pictures of Matt Kenseth sponsored by a Lycos car. I don't know if you remember Lycos, the website. Yeah. I'm looking at the names on some of the sides of these cars, and I'm going, "Holy crap, man! I'm old." This is what I said.
It really ages you, doesn't it?
Yeah. Oh man, I probably have a closet full of about 250,000 NASCAR slides that I need to scan. Just start scanning. But yeah, I did that for a while, and then in 2004 or 5, I came back to New York, and I worked for a company called Bruce Bennett Studios, who were at the time the Islanders, Devils, Rangers, and Flyers team photographers. Unfortunately, I was low man on the totem pole, so I did a lot of Flyer games. Because nobody wanted to drive. Nobody wanted to drive to Philly, and then Bruce got bought by Getty Images. They wanted his archive. Bruce is an amazing hockey photographer. He's been around for decades. He has every single historic moment of Wayne Gretzky's career, from his first goal to his last game. And Getty wanted the archive. So they I don't know if they leased it or bought. I don't know the details of it. But when they did that, Bruce shut down the studio and didn't bring all of the photographers or editors with him to Getty. But one thing he did do for us all was we got contributor contracts, which means we are allowed to submit work to Getty Images on our own, from our own archives, credentials, however we obtain them. And it introduced me to Getty, which I still have a lasting relationship with you till today.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
So going back to the NASCAR thing and traveling the country, that was all, since you're a freelance photographer, that's all your own paid expenses, right?
Yeah, it was all your own expenses.
Own
I worked full-time jobs the whole time, but had really cool bosses. I can remember when I was doing NASCAR, actually when I even shooting sports in the very beginning, I worked for Dwayne Reed, which is now Walgreens, as a 1 hour photo lab manager. So pretty much I made my own schedule. Always gave myself off on the weekends. And
you need it, man.
Easy way to develop your photos too.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's a whole nother. But my boss, she was a music photographer, so she got it. You know what I'm saying? She was like totally cool with it. And so yeah, I would give myself off mostly Thursday to Monday, and if I was local, like Pocono, Watkins Glen, and stuff, qualifying was on Friday, races, the Busch race was on Saturday, the Cup race was on Sunday, and I was driving home Monday. So yeah.
That's a lot of traveling, but you know what? That's a lot of dedication too, to try to get into it and make a name for yourself. So
yeah, I did all right. I mean, I didn't get into the people that I know that are very wealthy from it they were the corporate sponsor photographers. They did all the work for DuPont and Goodwrench and all that stuff. And it's complicated.
As a photographer first starting out, how do you get your foot in the door with something like NASCAR? For anybody who might be listening and interested.
You don't anymore, unfortunately.
You don't?
No, for what you guys don't know, a little bit of the business side of things. Getty Images pretty much owns the world.
Yeah.
So with the exception of, they have exclusive distribution rights for Major League Baseball, NBA, NFL, not NFL, NHL, NASCAR, Live Golf, anything like that. The only one that doesn't deal with Getty at this point in time, and it may change in the near future, is the Associated Press is the football. NFL is distributed by the Associated Press. So when you're driving down the highway and you see a billboard for, I don't know, Easton batting gloves or whatever, Easton hockey sticks, and there's a picture of Sidney Crosby holding a stick or whoever it is, that photo has to come from Getty Images, and that's where the big money is. Because
Wow.
So back in the day, and even to today, there's a lot of little rinky-dink magazines, blogs, whatever you want to call them, that do get credentials, but they don't pay people. The people are there trying to do what I did, which was make my way in and make a career out of this. And that's what I did. There was a little rinky-dink magazine called New York Sports Scene that was, tried to cover all the New York teams and be like a New York version of Sports Illustrated. And we all used them for credentials. That's how we got in, until I started to meet people that paid.
So it's basically portfolio building and attempting to get someone to like your photos enough to want to give you a contract.
To get attention. And just so you know, just to give you an example, Getty Images recently had a staff photographer's position. I want to say it was in Houston, Texas, advertised. And I believe they got pretty close to 25,000 applications for the one job.
Wow. Jesus.
You really got to stand out in that field, man.
You do. You're not going to get an opportunity with Getty unless you are kick-ass. I hate to say it like that, but it's,
That's the best.
I'm very fortunate to be in the position that have been, and it's just, I'm very fortunate to be in the position that I'm in. Let's leave it at that.
Got in at the right time, did your work, and
I did. I paid my dues. I did my way. Right, exactly. I did the grunt work. I was recently going through all of my photos. First of all, I should let you mention that the director of photography who was my boss, my best friend, my mentor at the New York Mets, recently passed away on July 4th. So we had put together they were putting together a memorial video for him, and I was going through old stuff, and I'm sitting here and I'm saying to myself, God, I sucked back then. And stuff from like 2000 and I started shooting for him in like 2004, 2005, and my baseball was terrible for the most part. And I hadn't mentioned this to him previously, and he said to me, yeah, he goes, but I knew you always had it. He saw something in me back then when I was terrible and stuck with me the whole time. And I worked with him side by side for this was in 19 years. It would be 20 years. It would have been 20 years next year. So, you suck until you get good, or you're good right off the bat, which hopefully you are. And hopefully you're creating images that get, people's attention. And they read that little copyright in the corner, because we don't get a lot of credit.
Now, do you think it's that you sucked when you first started, or it's the technology changed?
The technology definitely changed. Autofocus technology now is nowhere to what it was 20 years ago. The file sizes of things, back then we were shooting files that weren't very big at all. Now you can shoot horizontal and crop something into a vertical because the file sizes are huge. Like I said, the autofocus technology is amazing now. There's eye tracking. There's, a lot of times you're focusing on the chest of somebody like running at you, but the AI technology now knows that you're looking at that and still focuses on the runner's face also, which it didn't do, because sometimes when the person's running, their face would be on a different plane and you'd have a great photo of them running, but their face is just a little not sharp, it's not usable. And now that doesn't happen anymore. It's the technology has been pretty impressive, but it's also a grind. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. You do a homestand of 12 games in a row. By that 12th game, man, you're in heat, rain, whatever it is, you can't wait to go home, man, sometimes. So
God, I got a scary question because of something we just talked about there with the AI, focusing on the face and whatnot. Do you ever get a little bit worried that we're getting to a point with AI that maybe they're just gonna kind of replace real photographers with AI and just have cameras loaded everywhere in these stadiums with the way it's going?
I don't think it'll be with AI. I do think what you suggested is going to happen eventually. A brand new stadium like they're going to build in Vegas for the A's. If they would have to put still cameras. You can't just do it with video, unfortunately. But there would have to be still cameras, and everything would be connected to whatever network. And I could be sitting in New York shooting a game in Las Vegas and decide what camera to start to select for. Like, there'll be a camera from behind home plate to shoot the pitcher throwing the ball, right? There'll be, if he's you'll have cameras on first and third for lefty and righty hitters, and then you have to pick your battles as to what you're going to shoot. But
it's still going to be operated by a human, but there's going to be a lot more options.
We're going to transition to being editors, I think, because we're going to shoot it. It's going to live stream right to our laptops while we're shooting it. We're going to edit it and boom, turn right around and upload it to Getty.
That's crazy.
That's what's going to happen eventually. I think it could happen now, even in the older stadiums, as long as the technology is there. I mean, look at the ballpark cam, right? You have the ballpark cam before every game that's giving you a live look in at every single batting practice before the game even starts. So, it's possible. Do I think it's going to happen? It's expensive for it to happen. Let's put it that way.
They discuss this with umpires and stuff too, though. I mean, with the way the technology is going now, I think it's getting a little crazy.
I love the idea of the automated umpire, but but a friend of mine suggested something that's a very good idea. Is that you'll still have an umpire behind home plate, and if it's a strike, he'll get one buzz. If it's a ball, he'll get two buzzes, or vice versa, and he'll know what to call. He already takes a second to decide whether or not it is or it isn't. So what's the big deal if it tells him what it is? So
see, I think it's going to take away from the game. The human error factor of every baseball game is what makes it so exciting to a degree. Where'd we be if we still have the
I love
debate
pitch
about
clock.
Jackie
I
Robinson
can't
and
tell you
Yogi
how many
Berra?
4.5-hour Red Sox Yankee games I shot. That
The
after
pitch clock is
fourth
awesome.
hour. After
that I do
wanted to
like,
shoot
but
myself,
taking it away from the umpire, I don't know. I think if they used it right, give them a certain amount of errors before you start using that.
It's
like
a lot.
Angel
That's a
Hernandez
big-
would
that's a
obviously
big
be
gray
fucking
area.
forced to use that almost the whole game.
Well, we also saw how this worked when we went to that Rail Riders game as a podcast there. They had how many times that they challenged the called ball or called strike
It was like
during that
7
game?
pitches in the first 2
really?
innings. It was 7 pitches in the first 2 innings, and the ump was wrong every time.
What do? They just tap their head to
Tap their
challenge
helmet.
it.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And every time the call was overturned.
Mhm.
Every time. I was like,
Yeah,
dude,
you
this
get
guy's bad.
two misses the whole game, right? But if you don't miss, you just keep.
Well, you know what?
Well, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, the other
in
thing.
other words, he gets to make 2 bad calls, and if he makes the 2 bad calls, then the rest of the game would be automated. Is that what you're saying, kind of thing?
No. It's just the opposite. If the batter says it's wrong and the ump
batters are allowed
overturns
to.
it, you can't do it anymore.
It's like a challenge.
Yeah, it's like a challenge.
Yeah, basically the challenge rule. Yep.
I also love that. I mean, how many plays have been overturned, and how many how many great innings have there been already? So
well, that's just it. These umpires are screwing up so badly all of a sudden, and you're getting to the point where they're getting ripped apart on social media, and then nobody's going to.
Well, I don't think they're screwing up so badly. I think they always screwed up.
Yeah,
I just think there's ways to catch them now.
Yes,
or there's ways to see it now, right?
Too many ways to do that.
There's a camera everywhere now. Back in the day, we used to really like. I hate to say it like this, but we used to worry about leaving our camera equipment in a photo box because somebody could reach over and take a piece of equipment, put it in their pocket, and walk away. Can't do that now. There's cameras everywhere. There's high res cameras everywhere.
Yep.
You can't do that. You can't do that anymore. So I get it on both ends of it, but I do think that a lot of the umpires are horrible at calling the strikes. A few of them are really good, but
the mistakes have always been there, and they're easier to catch. I think the issue, I don't think them making the mistakes is the issue. I think it's their attitudes. The umpires are taking away from the game, making it about themselves.
Okay. I can agree with that.
And Angel Hernandez is like the first one to do that. He will never back down from anything.
He was forced to retire
when he was talked to.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm also going to kind of miss, you haven't really had a lot of umpires, managers arguing with umpires. I miss the days when guys would come out and get in the umpire's face and get thrown out. Made for great pictures. I'll tell you that much.
I miss Bobby Cox. I tell you what.
You're right. Guys throwing dirt on guys, kicking dirt on guys' shoes, and
I mean, you were there for the prime of Bobby Cox, weren't you?
Well, no, yes and no. I mean, I had left and I was covering NASCAR for a lot of that. So remember, in 96, 97, I didn't really shoot a lot of baseball and I didn't know what I was doing. So there were certain things I didn't pay attention to.
So were you at the game when Terry Collins got ejected when Syndergaard threw behind Chase Utley?
Is that a Met home game?
Yep.
If I had to look the gate,
that was right after the playoffs when Utley broke the kid's leg.
I know when it was. I'd have to look the date up and have to go back to the archive.
I would have loved to have been present for that because Terry Collins went absolutely berserk.
There's a lot of stuff. I got to admit, there's a lot of stuff I've shot, historic stuff, and I, just don't realize it until I go back and I look and say, "Oh man, I shot that." So.
Do you ever
you were
find
shooting
yourself
the Mets when they were decent?
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I mean, I'm heyday of David Wright and Jose Reyes, man. It's awesome. Those guys, both of those guys are amazing people.
So that means you got to be in Shea Stadium for a playoff game or playoff games.
I was in
World Series games
in 06. No, 06 was the. I was in Shea Stadium for when Beltran didn't swing at the last pitch. Yeah, I was in the outfield.
Did that place really shake like they say it does?
Oh yes. Yes, very much so.
God, that had to be
And
amazing.
I miss the ramps. I love the ramps. You know, when you leave, you walk down the ramps to get out of the building. It's one of the things I miss the most. I can tell you a funny story about being first time Shea Stadium, and I'm talking probably 96, 97. I was in line. The media food is like a buffet kind of thing, and I'm standing in line waiting to get my food, and I look over to my right, and I'm standing next to Tom Seaver. And I looked at Tom Seaver and I said, "Holy shit, you're Tom Seaver!" And he says, "That I am." Who are you? And I just, introduced myself. He shook my hand, and but I just because it was really like my first experience with a legend, and
Starstruck for a little bit.
And I turned and said to him, "Holy shit, you're Tom Seaver." I can't believe I said it. Actually,
it just came out. I love it.
Yeah. So
I'm sure I'd have a
questions.
moment like that.
Questions. What do you guys want to know?
So this is kind of a two-parter. Do you ever see yourself, like, I know you're obviously a fan of the game, do you ever get lost in the game itself and forget what you're doing? Has it ever happened to you at least once? Like there's a big moment going on and you're not with the camera, you're just kind of watching the game?
I gotta be totally honest with you. I don't think so.
Okay.
Because it's always been my job.
Yeah, I was gonna say you missed that moment. You don't get paid.
Well, but you're also taught from the very beginning. First of all, no autographs. That's like that's the cardinal sin of everything. There's no autographs. When I actually quit for a very brief period of time, from 2016, and then I came back in 2021. So for 5 years, I was out of it. And during those 5 years, social media blew up, and interacting with players is common now, where for me it wasn't. So when I came back in 21, it was very, very difficult for me to adapt to that, because I was taught you don't talk to players. You go, you do your job, you go home, and that's it. So, but as far as I've missed stuff. Don't get me wrong, I've missed home runs, but nothing really catastrophic that oh no, I missed that. Oh, never going to hit.
But for most of your life, you've been watching sports through that lens, so it's just natural for you.
Right. That's true too. Yes. But I will say there is one really good story. Johan Santana's no-hitter. At the time, I was editing. I was a full-time photo editor for the NBA. And that was in Secaucus, New Jersey. So I was driving from Brooklyn to Secaucus every night. I'd left my house, listening to the game on the radio. Had just gotten through the Battery Tunnel onto the West Side Highway to go up to the GW, and I had enough time to turn around, go to my house, get my gear, and make it to Citi Field before the end of the game. And it was like the 5th inning. And I said, he's not going to throw it. And I kept going to work. So, you get that. I don't shoot the games on Friday nights because I think the black jersey is a jinx. So, of course, I stayed home for the combined no-hitter. There are a few things I kick myself for. Like there was, we were having a really crappy season. I don't know what year it was that Scherzer was pitching for the Nationals and threw the no-hitter against us. But, I really didn't feel like shooting the game that Sunday afternoon. And I called Mark and I said, "Hey man, I'm just going to stay home." And Mr. Scherzer no-hitter. So there are a few things.
I left late for work because of that Johan no-hitter. I was working night shift. I woke up, I turned on the TV, and I was like, 7th inning, there's no shot, but I'm going to sit here and watch it.
Well, the thing, too, about it, too, was my boss at the NBA was, like, really cool. Like, if I showed up 3 hours for work or whatever, and then he said to me, "Why?" I said, "Well, I was shooting Johan Santana's no-hitter." He would have been like, "Oh, okay." That's what's even the kicker of it, So, because NBA historic moments and stuff like that, so. But I also, I'm a photo editor. I was the New Jersey Devils photo editor from 2007 until a couple of years ago. My friend was the team photographer, and I was always his editor. So go ahead.
How big of a difference is it? One, being the photographer opposed to being the editor? Like, what's the difference in styles there? Like, do you enjoy one more than the other? And how different is it doing hockey as opposed to baseball?
Oh, hockey's my wheelhouse. I love hockey.
Is it?
Yeah, I love hockey only because it's consistent action. You're not sitting there bored out of your mind for 4 innings sometimes. You know when you're going to go home, right? No rain delays, none of that stuff. You know, snow. Even going to snow or whatever, it doesn't matter. Editing, I love editing the photos. I love cropping, love making stuff look good. I hate writing captions because we have to write a caption for every single picture. So remember that too. So you have to keep track of what's going on. I mean, you can do a very generic caption on like what's called a second edit, which is stuff that you do a week or 2 after the event, if because you're not going to remember exactly what happened. But the night of a live edit, you have to write down every single thing that's happening, as it happens. You have to remember it, which thank God there's full play-by-play on, MLB.com and stuff like that. But, so I know if a guy hit a home run in the 5th inning and then the next picture is another guy hitting a triple, I know it's the same inning and I just have to adjust some stuff.
Man, I can't imagine that because just doing social media posts for this small podcast, I hate having to write captions on everything.
Everything.
Come up with stuff. So I can't imagine the amount of different photos that you edit through, coming up with a different caption. For every
with the
one.
new frame rate, as far as the cameras are concerned, and not having to worry about running out of film. You got to remember we used to do that back in the day, where you ran out of film. I only brought 20 rolls. I only brought 20 rolls to an event. And after a while, if a lot of action, you could run out of film.
Yeah.
I shoot personally on average between 2,500 and 3,000 frames in a baseball game that I have to narrow and edit down to 25 for live deadline. And then I can upload as many second edits as I want. I usually end up doing between 200 and 300 second edits.
How long does it take you to go through that many photos when you're done?
It's easy. There's software now. You just click to the next frame. If it looks sharp, you tag it. It's called a tag. At the end you bring up all your tagged ones and you start editing. It takes me, if I have to guess, it takes me probably about 2.5 hours to edit a full game.
Holy shit!
It's almost as long as the game.
You, that's after being right. That's after, mind you.
Yeah.
For a night game at Yankee Stadium with the traffic, I leave my house at 2:30 in the afternoon. I don't get to the stadium till sometimes between 3:30 and 4 o'clock. Game ends at maybe 10 if I'm lucky, and that's another hour and a half home with traffic. So there's that, and then sitting there and editing second edits. I don't do it right away, but so if you add it's a lot of hours. It really
look at that 9 and 10 hour day.
Yep, easily.
That's
easily.
crazy.
The other day was one. Then you get a rain delay, or you get something stupid, and you're there for next thing you know, you're there for 14 hours.
I've got a couple of friends that are into photography. They do some events around here. They do senior pictures, weddings, stuff like that. And just talking to them, seeing how long they take with the projects that they have, I would have swore it took you a lot longer than that just to get through all your stuff. But I imagine you have
and I'm slow.
Pinned down now. Old. You're slow.
Yeah.
2.5 hours is slow.
There are kids that bang through this stuff now that, I'm old. I still use a mouse and stuff like that. These kids with the trackpads, and they can, I couldn't even, I've seen some kids edit stuff on site. I'm faster than you can blink, believe me. So
I'm pretty sure I've seen people editing on the 7 train out of City Field.
Yeah. No, I mean, we edit in the box, which is the one good thing too, though. Like, you have all your gear next to you and in front of you, and if something happens, you can grab your camera real quick. It's not like you have to get up and go somewhere. It's right in front of you. That's the only, I would say, benefit of it. Yeah.
So let's fast forward to what I would think would be a cool moment. We didn't really bring this in, but some of your pictures have been picked up for baseball card sets. So this is initially what made me reach out to you, as I saw a Facebook group that you and I are both in, and you were talking about your pictures getting picked up. So take us to that first moment where you were notified, or how you were notified, like, hey, we're going to use your pictures in the 2024 Topps baseball set. Like, what was that experience like for
you?
don't
get notified.
Really?
No, you don't. So I get a royalty statement every month, and on the royalty statement, it tells you who purchased your pictures. So a lot of times it just says, Topps or Fanatics, because now Fanatics owns them, or it says Fanatics Topps. I forget what it says. There'll be an image number and the caption and what it sold for. And so I have to now take that image number, go to the Getty website, see what the picture is, and then go to eBay. And I type in 2024 Topps, and this year happened to be Edwin Diaz and Starling Marte so far, among other things, and start looking for the picture, looking for the cards, and figuring out what set they came from. So,
so they don't even tell you you're on a card?
Nothing.
I had a Mike. Nice and even send you a copy.
No, Fuck. Nothing. And like last year, I had a Mike Trout auto from like Series 1 Baseball Stars that was a redemption. It wasn't even like an auto that you would get in a pack. So I had to wait till people redeemed it to find one, and I can't.
What was it numbered?
Yeah, I can't afford it. It's like an $800 card.
What's it, of 25?
No, even the base one. The base one is $800. The numbered ones are selling for, $1,500, $2,000. Yeah, it's Trout. It's not. I have an Ohtani patch auto in Topps, the World Baseball Classic set that they let out. I can't. It's like $3,000, and that's not even a numbered one.
They're crazy.
That's why I buy into breaks. I hope I land a card. That's mine.
I just got this guy going into them.
Yeah, no, I mean, a lot of when I do go on to Whatnot and I do buy into the breaks, I try and buy from the same sellers, and a lot of them know who I am and what I do, and they ask me what card I'm looking for, and they try and give me a deal on the breaks. Like, last night I bought a Brewers break on the Fanatics cards, trying to get the Jackson Churio rookie card, his flagship rookie card, is my photo. I shot his first game, so his first game ever was at Citi Field against the Mets. It was opening day. Mm-hmm. So what I'm really hoping for is the 1/1 auto patch card that's going to come out in update. I think it comes out in Topps Chrome update. Those 1/1s that they did last year was the actual patch that he wore. I'm hoping that photo is mine. There was a MLB photographer there who was extremely talented, and she had a lot of good stuff. But the Fanatics Topps Chrome exclusives with the city skyline behind them, it's a $600-$700 card. Yeah, so I bought it. Rather buy into a break of instead of paying $125 a blaster and not getting anything, I'd rather pay $100 into a break of 5 blasters and maybe I'll land one. So
that's why we couldn't get those blasters at Fanatics.
The hobby and stuff. Do you find yourself? You basically just said it. You find yourself chasing cards that have pictures you took?
Yes.
That makes it so much more fun.
It adds a layer.
Yes, it doesn't. It doesn't.
But then you get to see a card you took the picture of.
I don't remember. I've been doing it for 28 years. It's just part of the gig, I mean, you get cool stuff like I told you, I'm assigned to the first of 3 Orioles Yankees games at the end of September. I mean, there are 2 or 3 possible things that can happen in that game. The Orioles can clinch, the Yankees can clinch, or Judge can set another home run record.
Yes.
That I'm excited for, man. I'm going to be leaving my house at 1:00 in the afternoon because I can't wait to get to the stadium that night.
I'm hoping you get the Topps Now card for that.
Right, exactly. I'm hoping he does something, and the next day is that Topps Now card. My buddy shot last night. He shot last night. He shot Judge's 50th. He shot, and he actually ended up with 3 Topps Now cards today because they did the 50th regular. They did a 50th foil short print, and then he had the 3 image of Soto, Judge, and Stanton, because I think that's the 3rd time this season that they've each hit a home run in the same game. Mm-hmm. So he got 3 cards out of it, but again, he's not going to be able to get that foil card. That foil card is going to be selling for hundreds of dollars if that foil short print. So, he just buys one of each one and hopes he gets in a parallel or something. I bought one of each one of those Jesse Winker. I bought 2 5-packs of the Jesse Winker, Francisco Lindor Topps Now cards from last Sunday that I didn't expect to get, so it's fun. Yes, it's fun. It's more important to me. I've been collecting my whole life, baseball cards specifically. But when I was a kid, I was about 10 years old. I had a neighbor that lived upstairs from me in my apartment building. He was a little older, traded with me, but he used to always rub it in my face that he had better cards than I did. And I was a huge Gary Carter fan. I mean, Gary Carter was my idol. And he would always purposely get Gary Carter cards and, not trade them to me and stuff. So now here I am taking the pictures that are on the cards, and I get to give him a big fuck you.
That's pretty cool.
Good for you.
Like last year I had a lot more cards, but they're players that aren't Mets anymore. So, but last year I had last year I had Alonso and Lindor were my cards, as well as Seth Lugo, Eduardo Escobar, and Canna. So, obviously chasing those cards now, they're great because they're dirt cheap because they're not on the teams anymore. So getting the parallels, I pick some of them up for like $2-3. If I want to try and collect an entire rainbow.
So that would be pretty cool if you could get something historic with Aaron Judge there.
Yeah, awesome. I'm hoping for it, man. I mean, I'm also hoping that maybe it's something where they clinch too, and locker room photos of getting sprayed with champagne are always fun. Not good for the equipment, but it's good.
So now what was your shining moment so far? What was your most memorable moment that you've gotten to capture?
Oh God. 09 World Series was a lot of fun.
Who won that World Series, by the way?
It's the Yankees. It's the last one. Wait a minute now. I mean, 2015 was a lot of fun also. I just, I really enjoyed the 2013 All-Star game, the home run derby. I was literally sitting on third base on the field photographing the home run derby. I mean, that was pretty cool.
Really cool.
Yeah. To be sitting there, and then a lot of players were there with their families behind me and stuff, and I was taking pictures of them with their kids, and I gave them to them and stuff. So
I was gonna say that's a much different atmosphere than normal at the home run derby.
Oh yeah, the huge events are totally different. Even I mean, even the atmosphere these days of the Subway Series is totally different. I mean, the Subway Series was a lot of fun this year because we won 4. We took the 4 games, but that last game, I was right next to the Met dugout taking all the OMG photos, I was on. Matter of fact, I took one of them and I posted it right away, and all my friends messaged me like, "We saw you on TV," and I was like, "Okay," but they saw me take the picture, they knew I took it. That was a lot of fun. But I don't know. I mean, I've shot so much stuff. I don't really have a specific moment. Like I shot Marty Brodeur setting the NHL wins record. And I have him making his lap around the Prudential Center, and it's not the picture of him coming at me, but it's more of the picture where he passed me and he's waving and you can see the entire crowd behind him. That's so probably one of my favorite pictures. I was just going through all of the photos to look for photos of Mark, and I started to put aside my top 20 Met photos, and I was telling somebody the story recently. Mark's favorite photo of all time when he was shooting for the team was the picture of Tom Seaver and Mike Piazza at Shea from ground waving goodbye to Shea with their backs, where you can really see their jerseys and see the entire crowd.
Yep.
And at the time, I don't know if they were hazing me or what, but I was really kind of like low man on the totem pole as far as the team of photographers that was covering the Mets at the time. But Mark sends me to the outfield to shoot the ceremony with I have a big 500 millimeter lens, and I'm kind of arguing with him, saying, well, everybody's going to be behind home plate, everybody's going to, to get that picture of the pitch of Seaver throwing to Piazza. And he's like, trust me, go out there. I'm like, all right. He goes, you'll be able to get them all walking in, and yeah, I've got Yogi walking in with Gary Carter. I've got I've got the first. I think that was the first time in a very long time that Dwight and Darryl were together. So I'm out there, and Tom comes out to walk. He walks to the pitcher's mound, and I have Tom's back to me. I can see Piazza. It's not a great photo. And for one brief second, I don't know why, I don't know what happened, but Tom turns and points to third base. So now I have Tom with a big smile, the ball in his hand, pointing at third base. Piazza's already crouched down, and all of the fans behind him. And it's probably one of my all-time favorite pictures. And when I showed it to Mark, he goes, "See, I told you, go to the outfield." Yeah, I didn't listen to him.
So when you're in that moment, when you're capturing these moments, these big moments that we all know, we all love, do you realize what it is you're getting? Do you realize that? Do you feel that moment, or do you not really feel it till you're editing?
For us, though, at the time it was just the last game of Che. That's all it was. It wasn't anything special. It wasn't anything. Now 20 years later,
that in itself would have, at the moment, like, I remember watching that game and thinking, like, fuck, I wish I was there. That's the last game at Shea.
I know. I just like I've been doing it for so long at the time already, and it just becomes it's a job. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. It's just another day. It's just another day at work. That's all it is. I mean, you hope stuff happens, like, not for nothing, but when a guy, whether he's the home or the road pitcher, if that pitcher gets to the 7th inning with a no-hitter going, you're hoping he throws the no-hitter.
Absolutely. I think even as a fan of the opposing team, you still hope that happens.
Even right. I mean, I was at Yankee Stadium for the combined no-hitter by the Astros, and he got the I was like, please throw it,
terrible.
And then, oh wow,
terrible.
Yankee fan, it was terrible. It was a lot of fun. Hey, listen, I had the front page of the Houston Chronicle because of that, so I mean,
that's awesome. Cool.
Yeah.
I was at a Mets game earlier this year, the doubleheader against the Tigers. They blew the first game, and the second game they were no hit through 7. I was hoping for the no hitter.
Hey, it just happens. You're hoping to see history at some point. And that's what it turns into. That's what it turns into. The fact that history gets made, I don't want to say every game, but a lot more often than I remember it for some reason. I also, back in the day, wouldn't ask for credentials to certain games because I knew it would just be excuse the term, a shit show. I shot the first race after Dale Earnhardt died in Rockingham, and there were 250 photographers there waiting to take pictures of Junior climbing into the car. So I mean, it was just a massive shit show of photographers trying to get this one picture. I mean, I got it, but it just wasn't, you're banging elbows with people and getting in the way of stuff, and it's not fun.
So that's going to lead my next. How competitive is this field in this industry?
It's not. It's a family.
That's awesome.
I was going to say,
think of it as
it seems like you have a lot of friends that do the same thing. So hearing you speak about it, my friend got this image, my friend got that photo, like he did this, and it just seems like you're friends with a ton of other photographers in the field.
And the best part about it is social media, because we all now talk nationwide, on Instagram and stuff, and we're all complimenting each other. And there's actually a newly formed Professional Baseball Photographers Association. And every single game that I shoot, whoever's handling their social media always features my work. They were, they're just great about it. And yes, we're all, you're in the photo pit, and your lens dies or your camera dies. I mean, we all have backups to the backups and stuff, and somebody will lend you a lens or a camera and not even think about it. Batteries, compact fast large. It's never oh, you're gonna beat me out for this photo kind of thing. It's we got to get the job done situation.
That's awesome that the egos are checked at the door and not everybody's trying to be the top.
Oh yeah,
and you can actually do it together.
Some of us have some egos a little bit. Bless his soul, rest in peace. Anthony Corsia used to shoot for the Post. He's the one that took that famous Mariano Rivera picture where you see him from behind jogging in from the bullpen the last time, old Yankee Stadium, during the World Series or whatever. I mean, that was a world famous photo, and he was always asked to sign it and stuff like that. I mean, get a little bit of an ego, that kind of stuff. Like I was run into people at Citi Field. They see me walk into my spot with all my gear, and like they'll read my credential and recognize my name and go, "Hey, you're CMP Designs." I'm like, "Yeah," because that's my my Instagram. Like, "Yeah, we see your stuff all the time." I'm like, "Okay, cool," and I give them a high five and I keep going, because I don't know what to say to them. My biggest thing is little kids. I try and because you buy into breaks, when you buy into breaks and you get all the common cards. So I always buy the Mets. So I've got stacks of Met common cards. So I make little team sets. And all the kids that sit behind us in the photo box are always asking for baseballs. And we're not allowed to touch equipment. You're getting a lot of trouble unless it comes into the box, unless it's a foul ball or something. You can't touch the baseballs. You can't touch gloves and stuff. So I always make little packs of Met cards and give them out to the kids that don't get baseballs.
That's cool.
What,
That's
what
awesome.
better way to get rid of your base cards?
Well, and then, like if the kid's wearing an Alonso jersey or a kid's wearing a Lindor jersey, I try and give him one that has my photo from last year on the top. Top's got trophy of those in there and stuff. Or if Edwin Diaz or Marte, he doesn't really have a lot of big fan, but people wear Edwin Diaz jerseys, so I was trying to give those cards to those kids and stuff. So
I was showing Marte love when I was there. I love him.
Got a question.
What's
from
that?
our
Oh, I love Marte. He's the best. But go ahead.
Our producer Jared is chilling in chat while he's vacation. I mean, he's away for work. He says, "How many cards in your massive collection do you think the image was shot by Christopher Aaron?" You probably have a ton.
Probably
man.
more than he
You
realizes.
have to know what I get. You're gonna laugh. I go back. I don't want to say I never really kept track of this stuff till like 2 years ago. So I went back through all of my invoices looking for what was used, and I found some stuff. 1-of-1 Jeters, 1-of-1 Rivera autograph cards that are mine that I didn't know the photo was used on, and I can't afford. I'll tell you that much, But so I mean, I have a lot of hockey stuff, a lot of Brodeur / Lundqvist / Sean Avery era kind of stuff. I couldn't tell you.
I have downstairs in my bathroom about 6 totes that are just full of chrome and tops and you name it. So I'm gonna have to dig through and see what images are yours just to put them aside in a special collector's box. But I'd probably, Jared, I don't know. I probably got a bunch of them.
My favorite to date so far is that I had I shot the World Baseball Classic, and I have 3 pictures from the Topps Japan national team insert and insert set, and one of them is Ohtani. So that's because it was his first time winning that championship. So it's a photo I'm probably going to make money on for the rest of my life. And
did you see Mike's comment down here? Mikey, everybody.
Somehow said he loves your work. He met you once at a hockey game.
Oh yeah, oh cool, man. Devils, Rangers, which one?
So, and Aaron, aren't you? Is it you that's going to a game next week sometime?
Yes. So, are you covering the Mets
Aaron,
Red
Justin
Sox series next week?
As far as I have to look at my calendar because I also cover a lot of high school sports. But yeah, I should be there for most of the games.
We're going to be down there Wednesday night. So
okay, well I'm section. I usually shoot from the first base side, and I just let me look at my calendar real quick. And the entrance to the photo box is section 110. You'll see it. You'll see the photo boxes at the very bottom of the thing. So
will they just let us wander down there though?
If you want to tell them that you're running down and say hi to a photographer that you know real quick, and there's nobody in the seats right there, they'll probably let you come down without a problem.
Yeah, I'd like to just come down, shake your hand, even
afterwards.
Yeah, love to catch up.
I can wait up afterwards and come down.
So while we're talking
down
about City, we're talking about City Field, we were there in May.
Don't do this.
What happened?
Oh, my Doc Gooden's number was retired, and I had to be there for it.
I skipped that one. I shot strawberries reluctantly.
Reluctantly.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of either one of them simply because of their history. And I really feel that the number 5 and the number 7 should have been retired first. But there are a ton of 86 Met fans that are out there. So, and that's my heyday. That's my That's that's my it's my only championship. But
I'm a Doc fan. I wore his number. Like, I just grew up.
Listen,
loving those two.
I'll be totally honest with you. Strawberry turned me at the very end of his speech when he was talking about how he had found God and how his wife saved him. That really from that massive heart attack. I can relate to it. So, I can relate to it from my own personal health issues. And it really turned me with regard to him and my my attitude towards him and stuff. Unfortunately, I've had bad experiences with both players in person, so that's kind of influenced things as well.
Daryl's actually really well known around the area that we live in. He's very active in the community, trying to get people the rehabilitation.
Where do you live?
We live in Wayne County, Pennsylvania, about 30 minutes north of Scranton.
Okay.
One of his friends is actually a substance abuse counselor. They got to know each other. They've been really close. Daryl's in the area all the time. He was actually at the Wallenpaupack Elementary School a couple years ago. Went in and met the kids, did some autographs and stuff like that for the teachers. So he's really trying to turn his life around. Not saying anything that he did, not excusing the behavior one bit, but 100%. He's trying to get his shit together. But he's up here very active in our community all the time.
Good. That's good. So what else were you asking about Citi Field? What's your favorite place to eat?
I was just wondering if you were there. And
no, I didn't shoot Doc. I shot Daryl. It's on my Instagram.
Because I was like, damn, I would love to see some of the pictures you got of that. Because I bet they're amazing.
Justin, what was the name of that one food stand that we were going to take a picture of you in front of that we didn't eat at? I forget.
Fuck you, chicken?
Yeah, fuck you, chicken. It was FUK.
Fuck you, chicken.
You chicken. I know that's not what was supposed to be called. Fuck you, chicken. I think it's like Fuku chicken. But it's out in left field.
Oh, I gotta go find this now,
bro. It's out in left field,
to the left of the bathrooms, out in left field.
Yep. I was dying. We were gonna take a
level.
picture.
One of my new favorite spots to shoot from is the top of section 102, because like I said, we usually shoot from first base. You shoot from first base because your percentages are always higher with regard to getting a good photo. Everything gravitates towards first base. So double plays, just guys throwing runners out. Even when batters swing, they're watching stuff as they run up the first base line. That's a photo, that kind of thing. So I wanted to find something similar to what we had in the photo box, but not so that it looked a little different. So I've been sitting at the top of section 102 lately with a really long lens and getting them, it's a nice clean background, a little elevated. So, but I'm glad I moved back for Jesse Winker's walk-off. Any other questions or?
So Aaron, what you gotta do now is you gotta try to get some press passes so that you can do a little bit more when you go next week.
Yeah, just let me sit with you in the box for a little while. That's all. I just want to get some content.
You might be able to get a media pass to do some player interviews. I don't know who will talk to you before the game, but
how did we do that though? We've been talking about that.
Oh, you have to apply for it through the there's a portal, media portal through MLB.com.
Okay.
It might even be
to do that though, because I would want signatures.
Yeah,
you have to know better
and do that.
You have to take it and separate it. You have to separate it. I mean, I'm not gonna say players don't offer me stuff because I give them photos and stuff for their Instagram or something, but I never take it. I've never taken it. I never will. Actually, matter of fact, I got in trouble for going to a signing that I actually paid for. It's still like frowned upon. Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, I went to a Tyler McGill signing, and to have him sign one of my opening day photos from when he pitched in Washington. I got in a lot of trouble for it.
That's a shame.
Well, it's not.
I get it to a degree.
It is to I mean, I can go to the signing and photograph the signing. What's his name was singing his OMG song up in Rye Playland. What was it, a week ago? A week ago Friday, and whatever. When they came back from the road trip, I could have gone and had a press pass and been right in the front row and photographed all of it. But there's just certain things you do and don't do. I am very much looking forward to the 9/11 game, which is actually on September 12th between the FDNY and NYPD, and getting to see David Wright. I haven't seen David in a couple of years. So looking forward to seeing him and his family, and just saying what's up.
That's cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else for Christopher before we head out for the night?
I think we sucked up enough of his time, and I'll be sure on Wednesday night to come seek you out and Just at least say hi. Maybe have
Playing the
talk with
Sox.
Yeah, playing the Sox.
Yeah.
Two
send
teams
some
I
stickers
don't
to
want to
Gary
see.
Aaron.
Sox
I
gear.
actually went to Fenway this year to cover for a photographer in Getty, so I shot Angels Red Sox early in the season. A lot of fun. I love
Corey,
going.
what was that?
What?
I'll send some stickers with you, Aaron.
Okay, yeah, I got a bunch
Some
too.
stickers
So
for the man.
yeah,
And
I'll get some stickers.
but it was great experience. I love going to other stadiums, Boston, Philly, DC. I shot Baltimore, Camden Yards. I'd never been there before. Last year when the Mets were there,
Baltimore's
loved
awesome.
it. Yeah, it really. Well, not the neighborhood, but the stadium.
No. You drive to the stadium and run.
Get
You
there.
drive to the stadium and you get out of there as fast as you can.
That's it.
I said to one of the security guys, like, any good places to eat around here? And he goes, yeah, about 50 miles up the road. Make sure you get on 95 and get out of here.
Yep.
And I'm like, huh? He's like, yeah, you don't want to stay in Baltimore. I'm like, okay.
No.
Same thing
Not a
with
good
DC,
place to be.
man.
Nope.
You know, the stadium's real nice, but the surrounding area is not. I stayed. I was there for the opening series, and my Airbnb was not far from the stadium, but I didn't realize how bad the neighborhood was.
Well, yeah, they had the shooting outside that stadium. What was it, 3 years ago? While the game was
Yes.
going on? Like,
Oh,
shit.
really? Oh, wow. Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah.
So, I can leave you with a couple of funny stories.
Hell yeah.
Sure.
So this is going back a little bit. At Yankee Stadium, the Subway Series, they allow the fans to line the hallway where the players walk out to the bus. It's under the stadium, because they bring the bus down. I guess they got similar to what they do at the Barclays Center. And I have to cross this hallway to get to the photo room after a game. And it's lined. There's hundreds of fans waiting to get autographs. And David Wright's walking to the bus. And I'm standing there and I make eye contact with David and I say, "Hey, David, how you doing?" He goes, "Not bad, Chris. How are you?" And keeps walking. And the entire crowd just stopped because they wanted to know who was I to be on a first name basis with David Wright, So, and then Reyes, another one. So I'm shooting a game in Philadelphia. As a matter of fact, it was like the weekend we were gonna clinch wild card or whatever it was, and I could see the foul ball coming toward the photo box. And I'm like, oh, great. So I kind of put my gear down and I go down in the, like a fetal position kind of thing. And Reyes leans over, literally puts his glove on my back and catches the foul ball. And after he's done catching it, I look up at him and he looks back down at me and he goes, "You got me?" And I go, "I got you." So as he's running back to his spot, we're jarring back and forth, just joking around, having a good time. And the inning ends and I leave my spot. I walk up onto the field to go around to first base. And the entire section behind the Met dugout of fans wanted to, who are you to be talking to Reyes during the game? It's just funny.
That's cool.
It's a lot of little things like that happen. I happen to be very friendly with Francisco Lindor. Very, very nice, a very humble, probably one of the most humble people I have ever met in my life. With regard to athletes and their attitude toward their job and the kind of money that they make, he always a very friendly person to talk to. And,
he seems like a down to earth dude.
Yeah, always. It was funny because just a couple of games ago he was warming up, and whoever was catching at first base missed the ball, and he came into the photo box like whizzed right by my head, bounced off the wall, and he came running over to make sure I was okay. I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "I almost hit you." Oh, yeah, but they almost hit me 4 times last night. Don't worry about it. And we had a good laugh. And it's always, how's the family? And he always appreciative that I always ask about his wife and his kids and stuff. So it's nice. But again, you have to separate it. If you're going to do media stuff, you have to. It's a very fine line that you have to separate from.
It seems like a fun life, man. It seems like a fun career.
It really does.
There's the old saying, if you work at something that you love, you never work a day in your life, kind of thing. So it's it's like that kind of.
That's beautiful, man. I wish that for everybody.
Yeah, I wish that for everybody too. And so Wednesday,
Yeah,
you guys.
Yeah,
All
next Wednesday.
I'll find you at some point. All right.
yeah. I'll shoot you a message and we'll try to catch up.
Let Aaron.
I know
let Aaron
exactly
what your
where the
shirt size
section is. I've been lucky enough the last couple of years to sit in that section a few times.
Okay, well, if you go to section 110 before the game, if you can get down far enough, somebody always comes over to sign. Whether it's Alonso, Lindor, Nimmo, they always come over and they sign for a good 5 minutes or so. So they sign a lot of autographs. If you get
I want to try to get there super early. And
Bet.
Corey, I heard
my Alonso
I'll
card.
shoot him a message and get his size.
because I still have quite a few.
That's assuming they let me bring a T-shirt in the stadium.
True.
Well, the only thing they won't let you bring in is a camera like mine.
Okay. Well, when you get a chance, shoot me a shirt size, and I'll bring you a shirt from the show.
Cool. Sounds good. Question about your logo. Is that somewhat based off of Baltimore Ravens? What is that?
Nah. So
No?
Justin and I, we've been best friends for like 25 plus years now since we were young. And we were always big fans of Edgar Allan Poe. So when we started this up about 5 years ago,
Raven.
Yep, we're like, how about we'll use this Raven as a logo. And this behind me was the original logo. We recently updated it to get a little bit of a cleaner look, easier look, less lines and whatnot. So yeah, purple just seemed to go with it, but we get that question a lot. Who's the Baltimore Ravens fan? No,
The
trust
colors
me.
and everything.
We're not.
Well, it
we're
looks
not
like
the
it looks like a derivative of the Ravens logo.
It does. It does.
All right,
It's a
cool.
nice color
Thanks
scheme.
for the time, guys.
Yeah, thank you. Seriously, thanks for coming on with us. Thanks for telling us a little bit about what it is you do and sharing some stories with us, man.
Once
You
we
got
cut the stream, Chris, don't run away. Don't feel like you have to run away. So just hang out for a
no.
minute. And
You got it.
so, all right, I'm good. Anybody else?
All right, you got the wrestling show coming up tomorrow night. We have a guest coming on with us for that as well. So make sure you tune in to that 7 p.m. same time, same place. Until then, I don't think we have anything else we gotta promote.
No.
So till tomorrow night, guys. We'll see you all later.
Later.
Later.